Hey, what's going on there, guys? Good evening. It is your Earthmaster back here on this Wednesday night, September 20th, 2023, about 11:09 here, California time. And a little late, but getting an update in here before I hit the bed. Got 5 point, it looks like a 5.9 up into the Alaska area. EMSC reporting that earthquake as a 5.9. USGS downgrading that, though, to a 5.4. after their standard review. But either way, slight uptick here across the Aleutian Trench. This earthquake coming in about 50 kilometers or so earlier this evening. California lighting up slightly here, just off the plate boundary here in Southern California. And also right smack dab on the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault near Parkfield. A couple of smaller earthquakes here in the last hour. Not uncommon to see that. Definitely kicks up here on occasion. Also some movement north of the Lake Tahoe area, getting a little separate swarm out here near Portola. Portola. That's a beautiful area. I think it's still beautiful. I mean, it used to be green, but with all the wildfires, who knows now. Some twos, looks like. Quite a few ones in there as well. It looks like a little sequence of earthquakes swarming going on there across the area. Looks like it may be off the Mohawk Valley Fault Zone. All right, we'll continue to watch that, though. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier seeing a little bit of smaller microquake activity, including one earthquake down here near the Mount Hood region. A couple smaller earthquakes. While we're on that note, let me double check the tremor map here tonight and see what we have going on for the Cascadia Subduction Zone tremor. Most of it here in southern Oregon, just outside of Medford. Got about 88 epicenters of tremor occurring over the last 24 hours here. All right, let's see what else we got. Anything major going on here across the states? Doesn't look like it for now. Worldwide, still seeing some activity out here across the East Pacific Rise. Seen a handful of smaller quakes come in here in the last... Yeah, maybe there hasn't been. Maybe I got some late notifications here from my earthquake app, but we did see quite a bit of movement down here this morning with... we've seen some larger scale activity, 6.0, and a couple other 5s out here, and a 4. All occurring within minutes of each other. Has that affected the plate boundaries over here yet? Well, aside from the one, that 4.7 that occurred in the mix of them, doesn't look like it. Although we're seeing a handful of newer circles there, the smaller earthquake on the smaller earthquake magnitudes there on the globe does show some slight elevated activity, but nothing major yet across the Peru Chile Trench. New Zealand area. Let's go ahead and double check the New Zealand folks down here. Real quick with the GeoNet servers and see if we got anything major going on. Looks like a 4.0 4 hours ago. South Island, there's a 3.0 in the area that's seen that earthquake activity here recently. That was going to be that, well, the USGS calls it a 5.6. The GeoNet servers a 6.0. But it looks like a little bit of aftershock activity continuing in that area. Let's go ahead and check out the activity down in South Island area. Oh, goodness, woo! It still looks like it's swarming pretty good down here. This is the last 24 hours in the area that did see that 6-pointer. There's South Island, so aftershock activity continuing to ramp up here across the region. The majority of the small quakes are very close to this area, the Rada Peaks. It is showing up here on this station called Cave, which is just a little bit further south here on that South Island map. But this one here is very close to the epicenter of all the activity. So we'll continue to watch that. There's that supposedly 4-pointer down here, South Island area. Now, I'm not 100% certain if this is a 4.0 or not. I don't understand, the levels of each agency, why they say it's a large earthquake than when one agency says it's not. It's just, that's the difference, I guess. So you just got to take that and go with it. Some earthquake activity this morning here across the Vanuatu area in Fiji. Really haven't seen any major adjustment out here across the Western Pacific. Just kind of watching it for right now kind of at a standstill in the middle, seeing which one's going to win the tug of war out here. Because if you really look at it, things are just generally average here across this area. The Philippines, Taiwan, slight movement here across the Java Trench. That's going to be this earthquake coming in here off the coast of Sumatra at 4.7 earlier this evening. But for the most part, a toss-up between the plate boundaries out here. We'll continue to watch that, though, and report back on any major changes. This 4.8 up here, I don't believe that's going to be a legit earthquake. As far as I know, that's not going to be a legit one, because the EMSC sometimes reports these magnitudes wrong. But yeah, it doesn't look like I see any 4.8 up here. Well, that's going to be in this area right here. What's this one? Some smaller earthquakes. Either way, that's just something we have to deal with for now on the EMSC globe, because it pulls in some wrong magnitudes, specifically for this area around Spain for whatever reason. All right, let's check out Yellowstone here real quick, then we'll move on to space weather. Not a whole lot going on there for Yellowstone right now. Things are pretty quiet out there as far as earthquake activity goes. Space weather is another story. I got numerous sunspots out here, and quite a few of these are very complex looking, including this main area here that is a little of concern, because it does harbor some potential for some stronger flaring. Right now we got 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 55. X flare has been raised up slightly to about 5% chance, and the culprit here is going to be 3435. The area of interest is gaining. Still looks pretty dynamic here. This whole area does in general. So I think this is one to watch here potentially soon for some, maybe a X class flare. This did produce an X or a 8.2 M flare recently. That's going to be again 3435. There's an 8.2 here yesterday. Or was that earlier today? That was earlier today. It's been a long day. So yeah, we'll continue to watch all of these sunspots here as they potentially remain quite active. There it is, beauty. And of course the sun, earth-facing side of the sun, is quite peppered here with the sunspots. I'll just continue to watch that as we head into solar maximum here in about June 2025 is going to be the peak of it. No major expected auroras out here. It looks like maybe a 50% chance here. Coming up here in a couple nights, I've seen some auroras, but it doesn't look like anything major has been directed towards the Earth view. Right now here in California, I was just outside looking at some lightning strikes, and we got an unusual weather pattern coming down here out of the north. These are some, let's see if I can bring up the weather radar. There are a couple of these smaller thunderstorms out here in this area, and it missed me completely. But along with this thunderstorm activity, there's been a somewhat of an outflow boundary, which is kind of strange to see here in Northern California. We had some drier air coming down from the north. See if you probably won't be able to see it on this map, but I did on a couple other radars here. There's somewhat of the outflow boundary coming down into the valley. It looks like that is going to dissipate, but we got some colder, drier air coming in, along with some wind kicking up right now. We are underneath a red flag warning for low humidity, low dew point, and these strong, dry north winds. Even though it's cooler, this is a concern for elevated fire conditions out here. So it's actually a little neat deal coming in right now. And I also heard a whole bunch of snow geese out here tonight. So they're catching a ride with this weather pattern. And if you look here, one of the culprits here is going to be this high pressure system. It's getting squeezed out here. But there's a strong northern flow here, or I should say, from the north down to the south here. And I think those geese are catching a ride. They're not really going against the wind. They got an easy taxi ride down here to Northern California. In fact, this area where I live is well, it's their nesting ground, or their seasonal migration ground out here. A lot of rice fields that continue their harvest. Afterwards, they flood the field so that these snow geese, and there's some other type of geese that come in as well. They have a kind of like a nesting ground out here in the wintertime. It's pretty cool. But either way, there's a strong pattern here coming down out of the north, bringing in those thunderstorms tonight and the cooler weather and windy. Not quite dry yet. I got 69 degrees here, dew point at 62, and humidity at 78, but this will probably diminish overnight. And those values will go plummeting way down with elevated fire concerns. But either way, pretty cool. Pretty neat to see. The thunderstorm potential out here. There's some of the Cape values out here further down south around Yuba City, and then overnight it's going to kick up in the mountains slightly, but it doesn't look like we got too much going on aside from the cooler weather here tonight. Thunderstorm forecast out here. Going to show this little potential. Actually, we were just outside of that 10% zone, but we still had some thunder and lightning over here just around the Sacramento Valley. All right, folks, let's see what else we got here for the numerical model, and then I'm going to call it, I think. That tropical system out there, look on the southeast here, still looks like it wants to develop. West Coast activity, we're looking at some much cooler temperatures coming up here towards next week, with rain chances and much cooler conditions, which is awesome. Not even joking. I'm ready for it. It's an El Nino pattern, right? And we're looking at potentially a strong El Nino coming up into our rainy season, and that does affect our winter weather out here. Most of the time here, roughly about Northern California southward. Into Southern California, we get quite a bit of rainfall, while the areas up here tend to suffer slightly for their average precipitation. So we'll just kind of watch this, right, and see how things play out this winter. Either way, I'm ready for it. I had enough of summer. I'm over it. The drought map out here. Let's see what we got for drought. Drought monitoring. Here's drought monitoring right here. California right now, we're still pretty clear. Southern California even got out of the drought with all that moisture from that tropical system that hit them there a month or so ago. And for the most part, there's been quite a bit of improvement out here across the portions of the southern plains. There's still some areas out here that are needing a lot more moisture, but some improvement definitely out here. Now down here in the south, well, you guys will probably get rid of this drought here in the coming months, as that El Nino pattern tend to sweep some moisture down in that area. Up north, goodness, man, that's not good. Definitely not a good pattern out there. Here's a general fire danger out here. Of course, you can have fire danger anywhere, right? But these are just the elevated conditions here, mostly in the purple in the extreme category. And we'll just watch this. Here's the current fires. I couldn't remember the name of this app. It's called watchduty.org. It's actually a really cool map here that shows current fires out here. And there's, goodness, if you look at this, there's a lot of fires. It doesn't cover everything in Canada. It's just this area in the white. And you can see it almost looks like the whole west is on fire. These are the current fires up here into some beautiful areas, man. These are a lot of green trees, almost getting into the redwoods up here. And it's sad because that's a beautiful area. Here's our red flag warning in the kind of the pink area here. And in the darker areas, the gray area is former fires, fire perimeters. So all this area has been scorched. There's really not much left to burn out here across the Coast Range, maybe further over to the west. Here's all this area around Lake Almanor that burned. Almost got Chester here a couple years ago. Luckily, they were able to save the town. Greenville down here, not so lucky. They were completely wiped off the map. I was down there covering this event, well, a couple days after that happened. And I do have some video there on my channel. It is not cool, though. A lot, I mean, so much was just lost there. The entire town just wiped off the map. And same with the Paradise area down here back in the campfire. Can't remember what year that was, but you know, everything's just burning up out here. If it's green, it won't stay green for long. Same with Oregon. Same up in Washington. You know, it's spreading all over the place. So, but anyway, folks, up in Alaska has some had some fires up there as well historically. It's a shame, but you know, it's, I don't know. Don't want to get too much on that topic, though. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here and call it a night. Don't forget the 100,000 subscriber giveaway is coming up here. I think I said I was going to do it on the 30th, right? Saturday the 30th. That's the last day of this month. So you got less than 2 weeks, folks, to get it done. About 10 days. To get in on that drawing. I think we have about 350 entries so far. That's quite a bit compared to our member drawing each month, but yeah, jump on in. You can win some prizes. If you don't want to win the prizes personally, well, you can, you know, kind of pay it forward, right? Give it to someone as a gift. Say you'd like to donate it to so-and-so, or maybe another member or subscriber here on this channel. You know, if you don't feel safe giving out you know, information when it comes to receiving prizes, and you're welcome to you know, just pay that forward to someone else. Either way, jump in on it, and of course we'll be giving away some prizes here to 10 people at the end of this month. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later tomorrow sometime. Well, technically it's tomorrow, pretty much mountain time eastward, right? We're still out here in Wednesday. We'll catch you guys tomorrow sometime. Have a good one. Peace out.